everybody, welcome to the Magic Weekly News update for April 1st, 2019 on the Mana Leak. I'm John as always, and we had a bit of a big weekend. A lot of stuff happened in the past 7 days or so, mostly the past 3 or 4 days. Up first, we'll start with the bad stuff. The day before the Mythic Invitational, Wizards of the Coast released a tweet saying that Owen Turtenwald would not be participating in the tournament out of nowhere, and that he was being replaced by Brian David Marshall. BDM is great to see back. He, of course, was the Pro Tour historian who just recently retired from being a Magic sort of commentator and interviewer. He was always the floor reporter. So it was great to see him back and get one kind of ride off into the sunset in a big Magic tournament. So Owen being removed from the tournament was met at first by a lot of concern for his health or perhaps his family, and it was quickly confirmed that he's fine. And then the rumors, speculation, etc. started that he was actually removed due to a very well-known secret that he has a bad history of harassment and sexual misconduct towards women. This resulted in a Kotaku article being written a couple of days later with several people coming forward with evidence, screenshots, etc. of what it sounds like a years-long streak of this not good stuff. So we haven't heard officially from Wizards what's going to happen with him, or Wizards even commenting why this happened, and unfortunately we're probably not going to for a while. So prior to the past couple of months, if something happened, if Wizards didn't like you for whatever reason, good or bad, you're gone, DCI banned. Now in this new MPL member paid player world, there's a whole bunch of contract law and U.S. employment law and all kinds of legal stuff. And so as a result, we're probably not going to hear anything from Wizards for a while because Owen, of course, is a paid member of the MPL. And so they will have to go through all kinds of legal hurdles to figure out how to end that contract, if they can end that contract, what they can say, what they can't say. And it's probably going to be a big mess. So we're going to have to see what happens there. Don't be a creep. Just don't be a creep. But that's the big takeaway. Don't be a creep. Moving on to better stuff. Valor's Reach, the Magic Hearthstone style mobile game, the collectible card game that's not Magic but has Magic characters, was released in Nordic countries, and I got my hands on it and played it for a little bit. I did a gameplay video that you can go check out if you want to see what an actual game of this looks like. But it's Hearthstone. It's Hearthstone. You play up to 5 creatures on the battlefield at one time. You get 1 mana every turn, regardless of what you do. Although there's a slight tweak with that. Sometimes you get a power-up instead of mana. But it's Hearthstone. You get a mana coupon if you're on the draw, just like the coin in Hearthstone. And it's actually not awful. I'm still playing it. It's not horrible. It's a fun little game. It chews through your battery like, whoa. But it's a fun little game. So when it is released in the rest of the world, or if you can get your hands on it, give it a go. It's a fun little time waster. It's not Magic. I don't think it's even slightly pretending to be Magic. It's fun-ish. Give it a try. And check out that gameplay video if you want to see what it looks like first. So, of course, the big thing this weekend was the Mythic Invitational, the huge $1 million prize purse tournament where we had 30 MPL members, 2, of course, removed for dubious reasons, and the rest, 64 minus 30, you do the math, 34, people showing up from around Magic. We had 34 minus 8, you do the math. People who were invited because they were streamers or well-known personalities or maybe just really good players. LSV was there, Gabriel Nassif was there. And then we had 8 people who qualified through Magic Arena. They grinded a massively unhealthy grind. The one guy said he played for 36 hours straight in the final day. I don't recommend that. And they got to go as well. So the Mythic Invitational was great presentation-wise. The commentators were amazing. Alias did a great job. She's only been playing Magic for a year, but she's a very good streamer, and while her knowledge of Magic may not be top level, she was play-by-play, which means she just had to call it the cards, and she did a great job. David Williams was great. Kibler coming back to Magic to be a commentator is fantastic. He probably costs too much to be there regularly, but he did great. Day 9's always the most charming individual ever. He's too charming, and it was great. The presentation was just awesome. The viewership was awesome. They had over 100,000 people watching multiple days. There's a bit of weirdness about that number because they were embedded at the top of wiki pages and stuff like that, and that does up the number of viewers that you have, because anybody who's on the MTG wiki reading about Urza's history would have the stream playing up at the top. But that's still massive numbers. That's still absolutely huge, and they've been on those pages before, so it's not just from those pages. It was still huge numbers. The format was awful. Duo Standard, as I predicted, was an absolute mess. The matches were boring. The meta was clearly solved. You played Esper Control, and you played mono red or mono white aggro if you wanted a chance to actually do well. And it just came down to coin flips. It came down to what decks did you randomly get chosen to play, and what deck did your opponent randomly get chosen to play, and which of those decks win, because there's typically guaranteed winners out of those decks. There were a few really exciting matches, but generally absolutely dead on arrival format. I don't ever want to see the format ever again. But the event was cool. The event was really good. Seeing the streamers win and get really excited was amazing. I'm not a fan of the stoic Magic Pro who wins and goes, shake hand, leave. I want to see some excitement. I want to see happiness. I want to see freaking emotions, which Magic Pro players and Magic Pro player wannabes tend to not do because they're told not to. Have some emotions, have some fun. Anyways, great weekend, really fun event, just a horrible format. Finally this weekend, on the Sunday morning of the Mythic Invitational, we got the War of the Spark preview panel. And it was big. It was real big. War of the Spark is looking kind of crazy. As I predicted, the uncommon planeswalkers are basically sagas. They have only tick-down abilities. They have a static ability as well. And they're really interesting. Set review period's going to be real interesting. I've started my notes, and I actually don't super care for a lot of the uncommon walkers. They're fine. I'll probably play them, but they're not like snap first picks. Now, there are some that are amazing, like Kiora. Oh, she's a first pick on common planeswalker. We got to see the mechanics of the set are going to be Amass, which is an interesting ability where if you don't have an army, you make a 0/0 army and you put X counters on it. If you do have an army, and barring weird shenanigans that probably won't happen in Limited, you'll only ever have one army. If you do have an army, you put counters equal to X on it. Cool little mechanic. And we're getting Proliferate back, which... there's counters everywhere. You better have bags and bags of dice, because you're going to be proliferating your loyalty counters and your +1/+1 counters and etc. So yeah, very cool looking cards. It's going to be a huge set, and I have no clue how it's going to work. I'm terrified of this set review because I'm probably going to get everything wrong. Another cool thing that we learned about the spoilers is they're being revealed in story order, more or less. So every day there's a scene, and the cards that are going to be previewed are kind of connected to that scene. Every card's not going to be a slam dunk story point. So today, for example, we saw a Naga Eternal, which is just a random Eternal. But the point of the current week's spoilers is to be the Eternals arriving and invading the city. So yeah, it's not an important story point for that card, but it has to do with what's happening this week. And then I assume next week we'll see the, the crescendo. I imagine we might see a death next week. That would be kind of a good place for Act 2. And then Act 3 we'll probably see the final showdown and what happens, and maybe an epilogue, who knows. Spoilers are starting today from content creators. I will have my 2 spoilers on April 18th, the final day of spoilers, at which point we will also have received all of the cards. There's not going to be that Friday dump where half the set just gets thrown on us. By the end of Thursday, we will have seen every single card in the set. So that's pretty cool as well. Now, that does also mean that leaks are awful this time around. They're always awful. Don't share leaks, but this time around, if a content creator has their card leaked because somebody did whatever and got a copy of it, before they could get a replacement, it probably wouldn't be a great replacement. It would be some common or uncommon, but they could get a new card that is theirs to preview. This time, because every single card has been given to somebody, there's no ability to give a replacement. So don't share leaks. Don't leak cards. It's bad. And finally, of course, we saw the War of the Spark trailer, which is incredible. It's so good. If you haven't watched it, and I bet zero of you have not watched it, but if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's fully rendered. We've never seen this before. It's not just card art that's animated. It's a fully rendered scene. Honestly, I would watch like a half-hour short by whoever this animator is that tells the story of Magic. I would watch a full Netflix series of this. I want to see that happen. It was a great proof of concept if they're in any way thinking about it. It had a background music track of In the End by Linkin Park, a cover, which I'm the right age for that to just be a home run music choice. It was so good. So good. How good? Over 5 million people have watched it in 24 hours, making it the 4th highest trending video on all of YouTube. Not gaming YouTube, the entirety of YouTube. It was the 4th highest trending video. It's insane. It's got massively broad reach. Seriously, go watch it. If you've already watched it, go watch it again. So that's going to wrap it up for the news this week. Let me know what you think of the Mythic Invitational, the presentation, the format, Valor's reach. If you've given it a shot, let me know. Let me know. It's fun. As I said, it's not Magic. It's not Magic, but it's fun. And of course, let me know what you think of everything going down with War of the Spark, because boy, is that what we're going to be talking about for the next few weeks. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me over on Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. You can find me at patreon.com/ShamanAleak if you want to help out the channel financially. Literally any amount is super appreciated and definitely keeps the channel going. Over at inkedgaming.com, you can use the promo code MANALEAK10, all one word, 10 is the number, to get 10% off your order and help out the channel. Click that thumbs up if you like this stuff. Click subscribe if you want to see more of the stuff. And if you do have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.